we have a new update over from the OCG, and I'm actually looking at this with quite a bit of interest because, once again, Ryzeal and Maliss format is something that I will have to get into very, very soon. We will start looking into it probably today, and we will probably start doing some remote testing for it like tomorrow. Because YCS Anaheim is in 1.5 weeks, and these cards are coming out next week, and they will be legal. So this is our next big change in the format. So for the OCG, there seems to have been a little bit of a shift. Now Ryzeal is still the most popular deck in the metagame, but I feel like let me just confirm that this is not that I'm not misremembering. But I feel like Ryzeal's numbers were higher. Yeah, they were higher than that. Okay, the last one had them at 36%. They've lost a whopping 10% going into this week. So maybe Ryzeal was not as oppressive as we thought all along, which, I mean, some of the OCG players have been saying that anyways. Like, we kind of know that Ryzeal is a good deck, but not like the craziest deck out there. It has gotten a little bit better, I guess, with 26%. And we've got Maliss in second, and we've got Blue-Eyes in third, actually putting up solid numbers. So let's see what this is about. Maybe this is the first metagame report. I haven't looked at it yet, but I have some hopes that this is the first metagame report in like weeks that will include a third deck that's worth mentioning with its own text and everything that is not Ryzeal or Maliss. Right? And then we've got 5% Atlantean, 5% Snake Eye, 5% Voiceless, 5% White Forest, 3.5% Memento, and some others. Okay. And the others include Centurion, Tenpai, Yubel, Branded, Lab, all that kind of stuff. Crystron, okay. Ryzeal. Dimension Shifter is making a return to the side deck as we are seeing an increase in decks that rely on the graveyard, namely Blue-Eyes, Atlantean, Snake Eye, White Forest, and Memento. Retaliating Sea also seeing a resurgence against fusion decks, namely against Snake Eye and White Forest, which are using the Azamina package as well as Memento. Ui went 7-1. And finished second in the 44th Ram Cup individual tournament, which had 77 participants. Okay, so we are noticing a couple of things here once again, and I've talked about this in the past, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. But the first thing that is apparent in Ryzeal format is that when Ryzeal is the most dominant deck, you are not actually forced to play infinite hand traps, right? If you compare this list to the stuff that's been happening at YCS Bologna, right? This list has 13 hand traps, which is still a good amount, but it is almost half of what we've been doing at the YCS. And it also includes only, like, literally only 6 hand traps that immediately stop your opponent. Ash and Imp, right? There's also Nib, which is kind of situational. There's Fuvalos and Maxi, which, even though they're both very powerful, they do let your opponent play a little bit. Fuvalos more so than Maxi, but okay. And it's also actually, this feels like it's the most healthy Ryzeal list I've seen ever. There's no Scythe here. There's only one D barrier. But okay, there's Shifter for some of these graveyard decks, but like overall, surely this is the most healthy Ryzeal deck that I've seen in a while. Maybe the OCG is healing, and maybe Ryzeal and Maliss could also help the TCG heal, but we will see. Maliss. Similarly, Maliss could be seen running Dimension Shifter in the main deck. Dominus Impulse in the side deck, together with Dimension Shifter, are vital against the rest of the decks that are not Ryzeal or Maliss. That is something important to point out with Dominus Impulse. I have heard that its usage has gone down in the OCG because it's not as good against Ryzeal. And that is something that we're going to take a look at when we look into Ryzeal later today. Yeah, Maliss. I don't have as much understanding for Maliss yet, like how this deck exactly functions, but Maliss scares me. Maliss scares me a little bit. And there we go, Blue-Eyes. We finally have a third deck getting its own section here. Supreme Darkness gave Blue-Eyes a boost in the form of a new Primite card. Primite Another Barrel. I think that's this guy over here. Primite Another Barrel is a Primite card, allowing it to be searched with Primite Lordly Load. When Primite Another Barrel is normal summoned, its first effect can set a Primite spell trap from the deck, which could be Primite Lordly Load if you didn't open with it, or Primite Drill Beam as a disruption during the opponent's turn. Primite Another Barrel is a level 4 dragon monster that allows it to be used to link summon Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Primite Blue-Eyes plays as a mid-range deck using Lordly Load's third effect, comes with a drawback that makes you cannot activate the effects of special summon monsters on the field this turn. But this drawback is minimized as the deck would typically end on Hieratic Seals or Blue-Eyes Spirit Dragon. Both have quick effects which activate on the opponent's turn. The Primite cards have raised the floor of the Blue-Eyes deck as it could end on Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spears with a set Trill Beam when hit by Maxi or Fuvalos. Okay. So yeah, we're playing Primite Blue-Eyes in the OCG now, I guess, with Lordly Load. The Primite cards in general, I think, are solid. I think they're good cards. I've seen people mess around with them. Like I've seen like a Primite Bestial Fiendsmith kind of pile, which also looked good. I looked into it before YCS Bologna, but I decided Cash Tira cards were better. But I think the Primite cards have some potential. I think it's a good engine. But it seems like this might be one of them. Now, Dominus Purge, as opposed to Dominus Impulse, I think is a card that will be very good in Crossover Breakers format. Because against Ryzeal, Dominus Purge actually is quite nice. This deck seems also very cool, I think. Yeah. Look, honestly, I think the next couple of sets, at least the way I perceive them right now, the way I perceive it right now, the way I anticipate it is I think the design has improved from Snake Eye and Yubel. I think we're looking into a time where if the ban list gets rid of Snake Eye, Yubel, and even Tenpai a little bit, I think we're looking into a future where 2025 Yu-Gi-Oh! Is... I think it's going to be better. I think it's going to be a lot better than 2024. A lot of these decks that I'm looking at right now, they look a lot more fun to play with and play against than what Snake Eyes do, what Yubel do, what Tenpai do. So that's like... just... yeah, I'm just getting that kind of feeling. Which is obviously something I'm hoping for. It's not something I know for sure. But, yeah. Alright, that's the OCG report. Based. Conclusion. Ryzeal and Maliss continue to be the top two decks, but Supreme Darkness came with more surprises than initially anticipated as players discover new strategies. Primite Blue-Eyes is looking to be a decent contender in the format behind Ryzeal and Maliss, and Atlantean has also made quite a splash in the format. However, Dimension Shifter is making a return to the format, and we will have to see if these decks will still be able to stand up against the counter tech. Alright, yeah, I mean, Dimension Shifter is a little bit of a Troll Despair development, but... yeah, Maliss is also the one that scares me the most, but other than that, like, Ryzeal and Blue-Eyes, those seem like cool decks. Like, Primite Blue-Eyes and Ryzeal, I think is gonna be cool.